In 1976, a young Martin Scorsese made a film about a taxi driver who saw filth in every shadow and decided to clean the streets with a gun. In 2010, he made a film about a detective who couldn't trust his own mind. And in 2026, at 83 years old, the greatest living American filmmaker is finally doing something he has never done before. He is making a horror film. Not a psychological thriller dressed as horror like Shutter Island, a film he later admitted he felt overmatched making. Not a gangster epic with violent flourishes. A true, Gothic, snowbound, reality-fracturing horror film. What Happens at Night is the title, and the title is a threat, because what happens at night is everything we bury during the day. The premise is deceptively simple. A married American couple, played by Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence in their first collaboration since Don't Look Up, travel to a remote snow-covered European town to adopt a baby. The wife is dying, the husband is desperate, and the town is not a town. It is a trap. They check into the Borgafjord Le Grand Imperial Hotel, a name so unpronounceable it feels like a spell, where the bar is always open, the lobby is populated by ghosts wearing human faces, and nothing, absolutely nothing, is as it seems. There is an aging flamboyant chanteuse who may be a memory of the wife's mother. There is a debauched businessman who may be the husband's suppressed desire. And there is Brother Emmanuel, a faith healer played by Mads Mikkelsen with the kind of quiet menace that makes you lean back from the screen, who may be the devil, or God, or simply the town's most successful con artist. The more the couple struggles to claim their baby, the less they know about their marriage, themselves, and whether the baby was ever real to begin with. This is not adoption. This is autopsy. And Scorsese is the surgeon. The production history reads like a conspiracy. In April 2023, StudioCanal acquired the rights to Peter Cameron's 2020 novel and announced Scorsese would produce. For 2 years, it was one of many projects percolating in his orbit. A Frank Sinatra biopic, a Life of Jesus film, the endless churn of ideas that an 83-year-old genius generates faster than studios can fund them. Then, in September 2025, the pieces locked into place. DiCaprio, who had been circling everything from a Damien Chazelle Evil Knievel biopic to Heat 2, committed. Lawrence, fresh off Lynn Ramsey's Die, My Love at Cannes, signed on. Apple Original Films, riding high from Killers of the Flower Moon's 10 Oscar nominations, stepped into finance. And Scorsese, who had only been producing, decided to direct. The January 2026 shoot became February. The Czech Republic locations, Prague's cobblestone streets and decaying grandeur, were locked. And then the secret weapon arrived. Paul Thomas Anderson, the other greatest living American filmmaker, rewrote Patrick Marber's script at DiCaprio's personal request. An uncredited PTA polish on a Scorsese film. 2 auteurs, 1 nightmare. The implications are staggering. Marber, who wrote Closer and Notes on a Scandal, had already adapted Cameron's novel with surgical precision. But Anderson, whose films dissect masculinity, marriage, and the American dream with acid-dipped precision, added something darker. Something that makes the husband's desperation feel like there will be blood and the wife's dying breath feel like phantom thread. DiCaprio confirmed the Vertigo influence on the Big Picture podcast, describing how Scorsese had him rewatch Hitchcock's masterpiece as a direct reference point. Is she a ghost or is she not a ghost? Is he a ghost? DiCaprio asked. There's something we're working on that's a reference to that. And then, in his Variety Actors on Actors conversation with Lawrence, he revealed more. Scorsese holds private screenings of entire films just to capture the tone of a single scene. Japanese ghost films, Vertigo, obscure European cinema. The 83-year-old director is building a cathedral of reference, and his congregation is 2 actors who must inhabit a marriage that is rotting from within. The supporting cast is a murderer's row of character actors who understand that in Scorsese's world, there are no small roles, only small actors. Patricia Clarkson as Livia Pinheiro-Rima, the down-on-her-luck chanteuse who takes the couple under her spell. Jared Harris as the giant businessman whose gregariousness masks something depraved, reportedly sharing intimate scenes with DiCaprio that push the film into territory Scorsese has only flirted with before. Welker White, Luis Cancelmi, and Romanian actors Ilinca Manolac and Gabriel Spahiu round out the ensemble, creating a tapestry of European strangeness that feels imported from a different century. Principal photography began February 24, 2026, in the Czech Republic, with additional shooting in Switzerland. By May 29, the film was in post-production, an unusually swift shoot for Scorsese, who typically luxuriates in months of filming. But swift does not mean small. Rodrigo Prieto, Scorsese's cinematographer since The Irishman, is capturing the snowbound desolation on film stock that makes every flake feel like a judgment. Thelma Schoonmaker, Scorsese's editor for 55 years, is already assembling sequences that will likely run through multiple iterations before Scorsese is satisfied. And the release? Apple has not announced a date. But the smart money says Cannes 2027, followed by a theatrical window before Apple TV Plus streaming. Because this is not content, this is cinema, and Scorsese, who has spent his later years fighting for the theatrical experience, will not let his first horror film debut on a phone. The psychological weight of this project is almost unbearable. An 83-year-old man, confronting his mortality with every frame, making a film about a dying woman and a desperate man in a hotel that may be purgatory. A director who has spent his career making films about toxic masculinity, now turning his gaze to a marriage, perhaps the most intimate, terrifying subject of all. Two of cinema's greatest auteurs, Scorsese and Anderson, collaborating on a ghost story, and a studio Apple that has the money and the patience to let an old man make his nightmare without interference. The book has been described as Kafka meets Wes Anderson. The film will be something else entirely. It will be Bergman's The Silence with Scorsese's Catholic guilt. It will be The Shining with European restraint. It will be Vertigo with terminal illness. And when the lights go down and the snow begins to fall on that unnamed European town, the audience will not know if they are watching a ghost story or a confession. Because what happens at night is not what happens in the dark. It is what happens when the dark looks back. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to understand that the most terrifying thing about this film is not the ghosts. It is the man making it, standing at the edge of his own mortality, pointing a camera at the abyss, and asking us to look with him.